So we open with a melancholy Janet talking about, I had to let my father go so I could make the albums that I want. Well, thank goodness that was, your most audible period. We can't hear nothing now. So in 1990, she got her Walk of Fame star. Wow, that was early. Also, I think the Walk of Fame meant more than now. It's just so obvious that, you buy your star, that nobody cares. Do y'all care? I mean, I don't know if I'd pay for it. That's like $10,000. I don't know if I'd pay for it. Give me my Emmy. That's what I want. So Janet signs with Virgin for $50 million, highest paid artist ever. I mean, what did she spend her money on? Like, can we see her old house? I want to see the houses. I want to see the cars. Like, what did you like to eat? Like, once you got all this money, what'd you spend it on? I mean, let's talk about it. Talk about how you were responsible with it, how you were irresponsible. Like, we'd love to know more, other than just seeing you and Richard Branson in a hot air balloon. So she takes a break from the studio to do Poetic Justice. I actually think that was smart. One, because we got, and I'm never falling in love again. That was the one song she said, because it was low, you could hear. But I think that let her recharge her juices. Otherwise, it could have been, repetitive like Beyonce's early albums. So you're really going to waste our time with, ooh, there was a little puppy love on the set of Poetic Justice between Tupac and Janet, ooh. But you ain't going to talk about how she got down with Bobby Brown when it was her prerogative and her pleasure principle. I know they were in the pouring rain, but we ain't going to get that story. We just going to get film clips. Film clips. This is why people do unauthorized Janet, because people don't tell nothing. People don't say shit. Out here giving us these half-ass cold, lukewarm teas with mold on the top, wasting 2 hours of our time. I want to know where your money went, because this seems like a desperate cash grab. So her husband, René Angelil, directs her music video for Again in 93. God, this is taking forever. Okay, so this is the beginning of Sexy Janet, Abs Janet. What kind of cuckold shit was Renee on? Child, these Hollywood heifers, but at least this is back when she was audible. And the vocals have gotten a little better. Now this is the era of Arms Janet, because the Poetic Justice song got nominated for an Oscar, and girl, them arms. Oh, goodness. Now Rebe talking about the Bible and how she didn't like Janet's boobs. God gave her the boobs. We didn't see them. A boob's a boob. Not that big of a deal. Oh, and the That's the Way Love Goes album. Now that was peak Janet. That was when her whisper and coo were in key, honey. She was giving you pigeon romance. Oh, 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 oh. It was all about whispers and coos in the 90s. So Renee was still doing this cuckold shit at Janet's concerts. He was going out into the audience, finding some sissy who wouldn't be groping up on her and take them on stage. Oh my goodness, they was tag teaming bottoms. Who knew? You see, you gotta read between the lines with this interview. It was not gutsy of her at all. You could look at all these guys and they are gay. They just had to butch it up a little more in the 90s. But the way they're, vagina. My goodness, it's Brooke Marks all over again. So right when Janet was about to sign a big deal with Coca-Cola, the Allegagays about MJ came out and it kiboshed the deal. So he asked Janet to do a song and they wrote Scream together. She said, I'm gonna support my brother, I believe him. I always loved the song, but I don't like this red wig she got on. It looks like it itches. It's giving an acrylic tee. But then when they went to shoot the video, the team was trying to make it into a competete. And Janet was like, look, I'm here to fight for you. She was really hoping for a familial vibe, but found out you can't go home again. Whoa, Janet, what about, don't let them please, what about when you stole Catherine away and sent her to Arizona? Why don't you drive by that house and tell us that story when the kids was saying, let us see our grandmother? Let's not skip over that. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why you sent that message that said, don't let them, please. Why wouldn't you let them see your mama? Child, ain't much to review. This fairy tale of Janet's life. Michael had some people who separated him from the family. They got him addicted to drugs. Talk about them propofol pals. Propofol pals. So Janet needs a vacation. So she grabs her girl and her cuckold, and they head on down to Hawaii. Oh, Lord. So Renee Angelil starts getting drunk off the power of being Janet's right-hand cuckold and starts getting on everybody's nerve with this camera. He was getting on mine. Oh, he got into a painkiller situation. That's what made him turn ass. Renee gives me, if the time had been different, he would have been an out bisexual and it would have been fine. But, back then, it was rough. So Renee was not on the Velvet Rope tour. And he was her right hand. So he started putting way too much pressure on Janet to always look perfect, and she bought into it. Okay, so after 9 years, she give him the heave-ho, but he want his check. No, we've had the other Jackson siblings on the show. That's been the dang problem. It hasn't been any of Janet's business. Now, Janet never played the victim card, I'll give you that. But let's not forget, hoo, thought you'd get the money too. Greedy, trying to have their cake and eat it too. She did that. She did clouds in my coffee about him. Like, the All For You era was about that very expensive divorce because he got half. But, oh, God, and from out of the arms of one loser and into the arms of another, Renee must have hurt you bad to go to Jermaine Dupri. Honey, pussy. I would have gone to Puss before Jermaine. Ooh, yeah. Puss. How the hell does Randy Jackson have a house in London? I thought he was broke. Oh, God. So now we done skipped ahead to Nipplegate. I don't care no more. Again, unless they gonna have the seamstress up on the screen, I don't care. Justin tried to reach out. Janet didn't pick up the phone. We know. We don't care. All the shit we done skipped, this is what you want to focus on. What has been dissected ad nauseum for decades. Child, Justin ain't even relevant no more. Oh my God, Miss Porter in the chat said, who was Jermaine distracted by backstage to Miss Jan's nip? Some heifer who wasn't worth it. The only reason there was so much outrage was because it was a black woman. That's it. That's all. There's no more. If that had been a white nipple, we would not be having this conversation. And then we have the Demita Joe era. And Demita was a great album that just never got her due. It's one of those, you got to be a fan to know about Demita Joe. Demita Joe had some good grown folk music on it. Jermaine Dupri resigned from his spot on the Grammy board because they disinvited Janet, but Justin had 5 nominations. See, now we can just call it racism. Back then, nobody would have heard us. Which is why there are no more Golden Globes. Or now we could just call them the Honkies. Also, let's talk about the fact that it was Les Moonves, the head of CBS, that went after Janet with such precision, that had the power to not let VH1 and MTV play her new album. It was all Les Moonves, allegedly. I read that on the internet a couple of years ago. They was talking about it when he had those sexual allegations and had to step down. And we was wondering if Julie Chen was gonna quit hosting Big Brother, but she's still there. Janet Jackson is Stevie Wonder's cousin? What? So we're in the slide towards present day. We ain't learned shit. She ain't gonna talk about this new man. Jermaine's about to slide out of her life. What is there to talk about? That album did nobody want to hear? Made for Now? Or we gonna talk about Harlem Week? Is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna talk about Harlem Week, Janet? Honestly, I done made enough jokes about Harlem Week. I'm tired of talking about it like we tired of talking about your titty. 2 hours. Janet's always wasting your time, but guess what? I think I'm gonna leave this concert a little early. How the fuck you gonna cheat on Janet Jackson? I admit it's stupid. I mean, that is just like, tearing a winning lottery ticket up. I'm sorry, what pussy do you go to next? It's Janet Jackson and firm, tight arms, Janet. I mean, there was nowhere to go but down. And you walking around with that face, and you get dating Janet attracts other women. I would laugh in their face and say, I'm sorry, unless it's Janet Jackson pussy, I don't want it. Do you have Janet's pussy? Do you have Janet's money? Do you have Janet's talent? Janet's acting ability? Janet's fame? You ain't got shit to offer but two lips that can't say nothing. He looked like a mini Roland Martin laying next to her on this plane, and you fucked it up. I'm really about to go to sleep. So we just in 2017 now. We done skipped Janet's whole life. We done covered years 0 to 3 real good. We touched on good times and fame. Skipped over everything of relevance, everything of note. No Bobby Brown, but Tupac while you was married. And so you only fessed up to what, we could legally prove happened. If you wanted to keep your secrets, just keep them. Just host your latest hits or something. Just don't do it at Harlem Week. So that's why Janet was in Tyler Perry's movies. It was right after the Super Bowl. Okay. So now Janet pops up pregnant at 50. We skipped over the fact that you got married. Just skipped it over. Girl, and it looks like you wearing that wig. That same wig in this interview. Just hung up on the tour. We're planning our family, so we're returning your tickets. Wish you would return mine. I know it was free, but still, you could give it back any minute. I'll take my 2 hours. Did we even see that kid? We happy about your change of life, baby, but you at least could have shown us a picture. Child, the only way we saw that baby was in the womb. Even the closed captions agrees with me. Janet mumbles. Janelle Monáe inducted her into the Hall of Fame. They couldn't get Beyonce or somebody relevant, Janelle Monáe. I don't even think the heifer does music anymore. I think she just does car commercials. Janelle Monáe. That's what you couldn't find nobody else of note. Janelle Monáe. You could have asked me to do it. Lord, Janelle Monáe. Okay. I couldn't even see her as a Super Bowl opener. Has she even sung a national anthem? This shit is boring. I'm closing it out just for y'all, but ooh, girl, I gotta take a nap before I edit. That's how boring this is. Okay, y'all, I suffered through. Good night. Shit, where's my phone? I have to pass the hell out on the couch. I ain't even too tired to get in the bed after that shit. I mean, really, what was the point of that? Just some damn news clippings. Shoot, didn't nobody need to see that? Shit, I gotta make macaroni and cheese and some ribs. This food done tired my ass out. Google, set an alarm for an hour and 20 minutes.
10:19 p.m. Set.
Google more interesting than that damn documentary. I mean, for real. Just news clips and reminding us that you couldn't sing when you first started. All we got were a couple whispers and coos. That was really sorry. I mean, just the worst. The worst. Oh, is the camera still on? That was still more interesting than Janet.